Hello friends, I'm Ashley, this is Sleeping Books, and today I'm doing a book haul. So there's not really a particular order the way I'm doing this, other than like I'm doing the first books in which I have of a multiple author, so like I have two of the same author but different books, if that makes sense. I don't know. But this is a book haul from now, which is March 8th, and then from like February. So there's like quite a bit in here. So let's get into it. The first book I have is Crescent City, and I did do a let's read of this book. I really enjoyed it. If you don't know what it's about a girl named Bryce, and she's investigating the murders of her very close friends, and she teams up with a fallen angel named Hunt. Also by Sarah J. Maas, and it is A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. And I do own these books in paperbacks, but they are on their last leg. Like, I probably have one more read with those and they're gonna fall apart. It's done. And I've read the same amount of times those paperbacks as I have the hardback of A Court of Wings and Ruins, which is the third book in this series. And it's doing fine. Like, it doesn't look like it's even been read. So I was like, you know what? Let's just get the hardbacks so we can keep it for a long time, because teenage me will never, ever let these books go. So these next two books are the first and the third book in a series. I had the second book, I just didn't have these two books, and I found them at a used bookstore, the black versions of A Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have Wicked King, I have it in the white version of this book, but it was like the book gods shined down on me and were like, we know you need these. We know you need these to complete your series. So I was ecstatic to find these for $5 at a used bookstore. So these next two books, and this is the final two books I have of the same author, is a duology by Nicholas Ames. It is I think it's called a band series, I'm not actually sure. But The King of the Wild and Bloody Rose, and King of the Wild is the first book in the series. And it's about these older men who used to be like those guys back in the day, like the ones who saved the princess, the ones who slayed the dragon, the ones who stopped wars. And they're all old, they're no longer fighting anymore, but they get back together because one of the guys' daughter has gone missing, and he asked all of his old friends who used to be like amazing at fighting and finding things to come back together to find his daughter. And it's supposed to be really funny, and I'm pretty sure a couple of the characters are queer. And then this one, I'm not sure who it follows, but I know it's about a girl band, like a girl fighting group. And again, I think a few of the characters are queer, but again, it's the second book, so like I don't know much about it other than it's about like a group of girls. Okay, I lied. That was not the final books that I have with the same author. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't feel like I'm making sense. A book I'm currently reading is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. And then I also got My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I love these. I think this is gonna be a 3-star read, but overall this book is so fun. Like, it's about like a furniture store that turns evil, and like in the book, I don't know if you can see this, but there's even an order form that you can fill out if you wanted to. And like, this is like the start of like a manual. Like, there's like every chapter there's like a different furniture that the furniture store sells, and it's like supposed to be like a knockoff IKEA. It's just really fun. I love it. And this book is supposed to be like an old VHS tape. Like, down here it says VHS, up here it says be kind, please rewind. And then this is the staff pick, and then it has like the scenes from the movie, you know? Like, it's just, I love it. I love it so much. And like, that's why it's like, it looks like an old 80s poster that people used to make for movies. But yeah, I read this. It's so good. It's about a girl and her friends, and one night her friend gets possessed by a demon. Of course she doesn't know that, and obviously it leads to an exorcism. I gave it 5 stars because it's just like truly good, and the ending is wonderful. But I mean, it is pretty It is like a horror novel, even though it's supposed to be a parody. It's still pretty dark sometimes. So just going into that, if you want to read this, be aware, but it's really good. Okay, so the next book I have is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. This book is about a girl and a boy and their neighbors, and the girl listens to this guy's podcast, and the podcast guy is her neighbor. And it's supposed to be like about friendship and finding each other, and I'm pretty sure a few of the characters are queer. Okay, the next book I have is Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kroger. I literally don't know anything about this book other than it's supposed to be like Pokemon and a female-female relationship is in it, and like that's all I need to know to buy a book, honestly. Like what else more is there to say? Okay, the next book I have is one that I'm really excited about, is Ghost Squad by Clarabella A. Ortega. Again, I don't know much about this book. It just says, be prepared, respect the dead, and always have a cat. And like, that sounds really cute. And I believe they like accidentally wake up the dead or something. I'm not sure, but it's a middle grade. It's gonna be a fun time. I've been reading a lot of like horror murder books lately, and I definitely need to break it up with something nice. So the next book I have is The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. It is about 3 sisters that were executed for witchcraft, and ever since then the town has been cursed and supposedly it like breaks and some crazy stuff happens. I believe the setting is like in the woods and it's supposed to be very atmospheric, so I'm very excited about it. So the next book I have is Mooncakes, which is a graphic novel. The author is Wendy and Suzanne Walker. I am really excited about it. It's supposed to be very fun, very magical. This is a witch and this is a werewolf, and I believe the werewolf is non-binary or trans. I can't remember exactly, and I feel bad for saying that. But yeah, it's supposed to be just like a really fun time, and I'm very, very excited about it. And the art style is just like cute. Like there's like, it's like muted with like fun colors, and I'm very excited. So the next book I have is something that I've already read, but I really wanted the physical copy for myself, and that is The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. It is a book of fairy tales set in her Grishaverse, which is like the Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows series, and it's wonderful. If you have any like inkling to fairy tales, and like if you've never read a fairy tale book, read this one. It takes fairy tales that have been known and puts them in a way that is so new and so innovative and just so wonderful. And the rest of the books, the rest of her series with the Grishaverse, there's like little cameos to the stories in here, and it's just like so wonderful and so magical, and I love everything about it. So the next book I have is Reverie by Ryan LaSala. This is a book about a boy who is trying to save his town from these reveries, and reveries are like, it changes the setting to where you are even though you're in the same place. Like your school gymnasium will turn into like Wonderland, and then there's like this person that collects reveries, and like that's gonna be the villain of the story, and they're also a drag queen. I don't know. It's supposed to be really fun. I'm excited for it. I love reading about drag queens. So the next book I have is Wicked As You Wish by Ren Shepeko, and this is a book about a boy who's a prince or a king, and he is running from this evil witch that's like an ice queen, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but Ren Shepeko wrote the Bone Witch series, which I only read the first 2 in that because I'm scared to read the 3rd one. I know it's going to hurt me. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. Don't worry, I won't have some random person sign it. But yeah, I'm really excited and I'm happy about it, and it's very pretty. Like, I don't know, like the pictures online of this book just did not do it justice, to be honest. Like, this is like a little bit raised up and it has like a texture, and like I love it. So this is the last book, and this is the book that I'm honestly most excited to start reading, and that is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I read the 100,000 Kingdoms series, which, well, it's called the Inheritance trilogy, and I fell in love with her writing. I fell in love with her stories, and I want to read everything by N.K. Jemisin now. Like, I'm obsessed, and I just, this seems so good. Somehow someone births a city, like they give birth to a city. I don't know what that means, but that's what this is. So yeah, that was all the books. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe you found a book yourself that you want to start reading because you saw this. I know I like to watch book hauls just to find new books that I haven't seen before. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, this is a short, sweet little video, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sleep because I sleep when I'm not in front of the camera.